Today on In the Woodyard, we're talking about two machines that are very similar. We got the Eastonmade Ultra and we got the Wolfe 17 RS. Very similar machines in size, production, cost, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about the differences and which one is maybe better than the other. I don't know if one is. I like them both. Let's talk about it. So I just happen to have on my Eastonmade hat and a Wolfe sweatshirt. This probably will cause my body to spontaneously combust. I know there's people that are very brand loyal and they will fight to the death over their brand. You know, there's the Chevy, the Ford, the Dodge guys. There's the whatever brand guys want to talk about. There's the Steel, Echo, Husqvarna fight. I don't care. I like them all. If they work, awesome. Some might be a little bit better in one area, some might be a little bit better in another area. It doesn't really matter. What matters to you is what works best for you in your situation. We're going to talk about the differences between these two machines and which one maybe is a little better in some areas than others. We're going to talk about the differences between little things that maybe make a difference to you. And because I have run the Eastonmade Ultra probably more than any other person on the planet, I probably have a couple thousand cords of wood through the Ultra. I've had it 5-6 years, something like that now. It's an awesome machine. It basically ran my business for a long time. And the new recent addition is the Wolfe 17 RS here. That's also mine. It's going to be part of the Woodyard forever, well, for a long time. And we're going to compare the two and see which one I like better and talk about the differences. Now, there's little differences and there's big differences. We're going to talk about them. I made a list of all the things that I could think of about them that I like and don't like, point out the things that I would change on each one of them, point out the things that maybe you, it matters to you a lot about which one you like better because of certain little things. And again, like I said, it really depends on your situation, what you like, what you want it to do. Now, for me, the number one thing I want in my wood yard is not power. I know how to split wood, so I know how to read the wood, so I can get the most out of a machine that maybe isn't 100 ton of force for splitting pressure. The Eastonmade Ultra is 14 tons. The 17 RS is 17. And so they're very similar in that. I guess the Wolfe has the edge on that, 17 tons versus 14. And I would rather have speed than something that's slow but very powerful. I can rip wood down. I can knock it down a lot of different ways. We've also got the Wolfe 17 VS, the vertical splitter. We've also got a skid steer splitter over there that mounts a hydraulic one on the front. We can break stuff down that way. I generally try to stay away from really big wood just because I know production-wise you're much farther ahead. Buying the right size wood, getting the wood that's that 8 to 14 inch stuff that's straight, or you can run it through a processor and you can crap it out like poop through a goose. You want to be able to produce wood fast. And if you're getting great big monster wood, it's actually slow. Yeah, you get a lot of wood from it. Yeah, it might be free or cheap, but it's not really fast. The big stuff is slow. And time is more valuable to me than money. I'm almost 100 years old now, so I don't have a lot of time left. So I'd rather save some time and have a faster machine. And I'd rather have a machine that's easy to operate. A great big machine isn't necessarily what I want. I want to be able to move it around, get it to the wood. I want to be able to have it where I can just pick it up, move it around, which is why the Ultra's been good for so long. I could have bought any machine I wanted to get when I got the Ultra. The Ultra is considered like a entry-level professional model. It's kind of like a prosumer model. Same thing with the 17 RS. It's kind of an entry level. It's not by any means their top of the line, Both of these are right around $6,000. I think the Ultra is like $5,400, and then if you get the single wedge on it, it's like another $300, so it puts it at like $57. And then to have it delivered is like $500 or $600, maybe $800. So it's around $6,000. And the Wolfe Ridge 17RS is right around $6,000. I think it's like $5,990 or something like that. But it comes with a lot of the stuff that doesn't have. We're going to talk about that right now. So I'm going to point out the differences right now. I've got 8 rounds over here of ash, kind of dry old ash that I got that was free wood. And I have 8 rounds of ash, equal size. This all came from the same place, same size. I got a couple little bigger ones, a couple little smaller ones. We're going to split the 8 rounds with each one of them. But first, before I do that, I'm going to talk about the differences between these machines. Now, I'm going to go over to the Ultra first. So as a lot of you know, I've had this Ultra here for a very long time. I'm going to go look at the serial number. I think it's somewhere over on the side here, and I think there's a date on it if I remember correctly. Right here it is. The Ultra, it was manufactured 6 of 20. So yeah, it's 5 years old. It's in a month, it'll be 5 years old. So there's that. So that's how long I've had this, and I got it right away. When I ordered the Ultra, I was looking at the kinetic splitters. I wanted something with some speed that was easy to move around because in my wood yard, at the time, I did not have a tractor, ATV, stuff like that to move it around. So I wanted to be able to pick it up and shove it around, which the smaller splitters you can do that with. And so that was one of the things I looked at. I also wanted speed. This has a 4-second cycle time, which is awesome. And cost, it was around $5,000 when I bought it. It might have been a little less than that. But when I ordered it, it was right when Eastonmade was taking off and they couldn't produce them fast enough. And when I ordered it, they told me 90 days. It was 186 days. So that was a long time to wait. And I kept calling saying, hey, when's it gonna get here? When's it gonna get here? And it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. So that was, I guess I wasn't too happy with that, but that's the way it was. And I wanted this machine because this was the one at the time that was going to be best for me. Now the Wolfe Ridge, you can get these fairly fast. I think they've got these in stock. And one of the things that's a big difference between these two brands is that the Eastonmade you buy a factory direct, which is awesome. Keeps the cost down a little bit, but you don't have service. You're on your own when you get it. I mean, yeah, you can call and they can send you stuff, but you got to fix it yourself or find a guy. And I'm not a mechanic, as a lot of you know. Now, with the Wolfe Ridge, they've got dealers. They've got distributors. They got places you can buy these from and take them to. I think they got maybe 10 different distributors now. Also, another big difference, this factory, the Wolfe Ridge, it's 3 hours away from me. So if I wanted to take it there and get something done, it's 3 hours. I could be there and back in a day. This, I got to go across the border. It's Canada. So there's that. Whether that's good or bad, doesn't matter. You got to go to the source. So that's where this is coming from. And with tariffs, whether they are or aren't, I don't know. We're in the middle of, we don't know what's going to happen. They could go up, they could go down. Who knows? So that's one of the big differences as far as where they're made. American made in Wisconsin, awesome, which is where I am. Canadian made, nothing wrong with Canadian stuff. Great people, they're good neighbors. They're kind of like cousins. Good people. So right across the border. Now the Eastonmade Ultra, it weighs, I think it's right around 800 pounds if I'm correct. Could be 700, but I think it's 800. So it's still pretty easy to move around on a fairly level surface. If you've got muddy conditions or if you've got a real rough surface, it is a little harder to move. I do have a little dolly that I can move it with, but now I also have the tractor, as you saw, with forks, with the ball, I can move it around. The Wolfe Ridge is 1,000 pounds, so a little bit heavier. One thing, a difference is the tires. The Eastonmade does have bigger, better tires. These are smaller tires. On the Wolfe Ridge is made to be towed to 45 miles an hour. Same with the Ultra, but the tires are a little bit better on this. A little bigger, a little wider, as you can see the difference there. It's not a big thing because you can't tow it on like the interstate anyway. Both of these, you're gonna put into the bed of a truck or in a trailer and take it to where you're working, or just leave it in your wood yard and pull it around your wood yard. In the woods, these are nice because you can take these and weave them around the trees and stuff, whereas the great big monster machines, the ones that are 2,000, 3,000 pounds with the 47-way wedges and all the stuff that a lot of guys think they have to have, which most of them don't. They're nice, and if that's what you want, that's fine. It's just not what I need. I have produced thousands of cords of wood with this little machine here, and it just keeps chugging along. The next thing, when I bought mine, they came with the Honda engine. So this has the GX 340 on it. So a little bigger engine than what is on this one here. This is the GX 270. Now the Wolfe Ridge does still come with a Honda engine. You get a Honda engine on it because that's what they have. The Eastonmade now has a Vanguard engine on it. But whether you like them, don't like them, that's the difference. I've always been a Honda guy. My first car I ever had was a Honda. I had a Honda Civic, I had a Honda Accord, and I had a Honda Ridgeline. It was one of the first little trucks I bought when they very first came out. It was an awesome truck. I drove it for 5 years and it was nice. It just wasn't big enough for doing firewood. It was okay, but it was a nice truck. I liked it. Some people say, oh, it's not a truck. Well, I had a cargo trailer and I pulled 5,000 pounds with it. It worked fine for what I needed at the time. I had kids. Had a great, nice back seat. It was easy in, easy out. It was still a truck. I took it on a lot of hunting trips to Canada and all over the United States. It was a good truck. As a matter of fact, a lot of people say, oh, you got to buy American made. Got to buy that Dodge and that. You got to buy that Ram and that Chevy and that the Ford. You know what? The Honda Ridgeline is 90, I want to say it's 94% or 96% made in the USA. The next closest one is like 80-some%. So it's more made in the United States than any other truck. So there's that. Okay, on to the comparison here now. Another big thing, the push plates. The push plate, this is the big push plate, believe it or not, for the Ultra. They first came out, it was about this high and about that wide. It was a little bitty postage stamp and it was really tiny and guys complained. So they came out with a bigger one. They sent me this one, I put it on. It's big enough, but it had these buttons on here, and with the buttons, what happens is when you get a piece that's got an angled piece, it'll tend to shoot out on you. It doesn't grip. These buttons don't really do much. They're just a bump. They don't really grip. So I ground these grooves in here so I wouldn't have pieces flying out at me. The Wolfe Ridge has an actual diamond plate on there. It's welded on with the Wolves, so it's got a lot of gription, as I like to say. So you put a crooked piece in here, it's not going anywhere. I don't have anything slid out of these. So this push plate is also much bigger. As you can see comparison-wise, this is a small one. This whole setup is much bigger. The Eastonmade, all it is a block on the bottom here that's bolted on right to this, and that's it. It's metal on metal. There's nothing on the sides. There's nothing for a lubrication plate. And over here, if you look on the Wolfe Ridge, this has the graphite embedded nylon plate in here, and that can be removed and changed, but they do last a long time. It also has the brass on the sides, brass on the bottom, and it's connected with not 4, but 8 bolts. Over here, it's 2 bolts. That's it. That's all there is 2 bolts that holds that on. And it's metal on metal. So definitely, this is better. And this is an I-beam. As you can see, it's I-beam. It's a welded one here, all the way across, all the way down to there. This one is just 2 tubes. I think they're 2x6 or whatever they are, tubes, which is okay. It works. It's a simple design, and it works. But this is stronger. It just is. The next thing is the cycle time. The Wolfe Ridge has, I believe it's a 6 or a 6.5 second cycle time. Eastonmade, 4 second. Definitely faster. But you have to have your hand on the lever at all times. It does have a detent that kicks out, but if you want it forward, you have to hold it forward. You let go, it stops. If you want to go back, you got to push it back, but then you can let go and then it'll kick out. So basically not auto retract. This one, however, the Wolfe Ridge does have auto retract, and you can operate one of the 2 levers. You can either be splitting all the time or retracting. It has a detent on it, and then you have a retract lever. Now when you're splitting with it, you just hit both of these forward, it goes all the way to the end, then it comes all the way back, then it shuts itself off. If you want to hold it down for more power, you just keep pushing and it'll power through whatever you've got. Whereas the Eastonmade, not as much power, 14 tons, 17 tons. So that's a huge advantage that you got the auto retract. Now, when I'm splitting with the Eastonmade, it's fine. And it goes as fast as I can go. Matter of fact, it goes as fast as 2 guys can go. As fast as you can feed it, but one of the guys' hands has to stay on the lever at all times to run the lever back and forth steadily. So there's that. So being that this one is a 4-second and this one is a 6.5 second, because of the auto retract, I think this is actually faster because you have a free hand. So when you send it, as it's coming and splitting, you can turn away, go grab another round, set it on there. By the time you come back, it's split and it's going back all by itself. So really, this is faster because I've done both. And we're going to do a test today and see which 8 rounds go through here, easier or faster. This is actually easier to operate because you got a free hand, whereas when you're using the Eastonmade Ultra, your lever hand, whether it's your right or left, because you can operate from either side, your lever hand is always on the lever, always. It's always got to be on it. So you got one hand to operate to move material on, unless you let up on the lever. When it's going back, it'll go by itself and the detent will kick in. So then you got your hand, but whereas this one does everything. So you got both hands at all times. Now, one of the other big things is the Eastonmade, you can operate from either side. It's equal on both sides, which is very nice. I like that a lot. But you can also do that with the Wolfe fridge. You can operate from either side. Now, I've operated from this side, which is supposed to be your storage side, this rack here. You're actually supposed to operate on that side. But you can go either way. And you're close enough. When you stand right here, you're right up against it. You don't have to lean over or anything. It's right here. So you got the work area. Now over here, you've got a nice work area and a level table so you can slide stuff around, which I do like. These buttons I don't like. These are constantly in the way. You're constantly fighting these buttons sticking up here on the heads of the bolt, I should say. So you do fight that. Over here, this is movable. Your little work tray or your catch. You can tip this down and you can make this level so it's level with your tray here. This one here is also movable. You can go from either side, so you can make it work from left or right, however you prefer. So this is actually more customizable, so to speak. So that works really good. Now, another big thing is the wedges. This wedge is a permanent one. This one right here is the permanent one. It's always on there, the single wedge. This wing you can take off. It's just a bolt right here. You undo it. There's a wrench that came with it. You take this bolt off, and then you can store it down on the end of the actual beam. And this is included. That's just how it comes. With the Eastonmade, you get the 4-way or you get the single wedge, and if you want both, you got to pay an extra $300 or $400, something like that. So there's that. Now when I change this one, I have to stand up on top of here. Well, first I have to pull the pin down here. Then I got to stand up here, and then you got to lift it out of there, and it does get jammed up with stuff, so you got to take it out occasionally. You have to lift it up, toss it to the side, and then drop in your other wedge if you want to change a wedge. Whereas here you take a bolt off, slide it up, put it away, and you got your single wedge. It's actually way faster to change this, and this is more flexible. I do like this a lot. So it's just a more advanced way of doing it. Although there's nothing wrong with this. It works great. This is adjustable up and down. So there's that. Another thing is in the back here with the Wolfe fridge, you've got a stabilizer foot in the back that you can pull out, and this pin pulls. Pull it out, and then you can turn it either direction so it stores right in here. And so you got a stabilization, which makes the whole unit much more stable, whereas the Eastonmade, you do not have that. That back there, you can put in your tongue. So you can pull your tongue out, and you can put your tongue back here so you can pull it away from a pile. I've never done that. I've never used that. So I don't know. I guess you could do that with this one too. It also has a tongue here. You could pull it all the way out, and you could stick it back here and do the same thing. You could stick it in here, and you could pull it that way. So I guess they both have that. But the Eastonmade does not have the brace foot in the back. So there's that. Another big thing with the Eastonmade is this lever here. This is my customization. I put this on probably like 3 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I broke the first 2 levers. It was a little bitty, tiny, skinny lever that was very easy to break. We broke, I think, 2 or 3 of them. So this is like my 4th one that I put on here, and this is just it's a grade 8 bolt I put in there and put some nuts on it. And then I put a piece of PVC on it and put some tape on it so I had more leverage, so it worked better. And I haven't broke it since. Over here, you've got actual big levers. They connect really nice. The difference is that I think this is a Prince valve, and over here, this is a Galtech valve. I don't know which one's better, which one you like better, whatever. The Eastonmade, we put the hour meter on. It did not come with the hour meter. This one has an hour meter included. You can see it right down here. So you got that. Another huge thing that the Wolfe has is you've got this grate, the clean out rack. I think this is an extra fee. I think it's a couple $100. Mine came with it. It was just on there, and I'm not sure if it's a standard thing now or if it's something that is an add-on. I thought it was an add-on. Eastonmade does not have it. Now on the table with the Eastonmade, it has these corners right here which are 90 degree, and as you can see here, we have pieces of wood come in here and they'll hit here, and it bent this out. I did not bend that. That was from pieces of wood, and it's actually cracked on the table on both sides there, because I think, and I've said this from the very beginning, the very first time I use it, that piece gets jammed in there and they shoot up in the air or they hit you in the crotch. Not a good thing. This bend here should be at a 45. There's no reason for this to be at 90. That's just an additional pinch point. Whereas here, you got a nice wide tray. It can slide up and out. It's not an issue. So having your tray bent like this, I think, is a huge advantage. It's a bigger, deeper tray, which I do like. This is a shallower one, but it works fine. You can move your work around. So there's another big difference. Now, both of them have a tank and they have a gauge. Both of them have a gauge for your level and your temperature. For your hydraulic fluid, they both have top cylinders for the filters. Over here is the Eastonmade one. It has a cylinder there for your filter, which cleans it out. Tank size, I think the Eastonmade tank might be a little bigger. They both take the same fluid, but I don't know the actual size of that. That might be a 20-ish, 25, and I think the Wolfe might be 15. I don't know. I'd have to look at the specs. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They work. Because it's a smaller machine, you do not need a fan on it as far as a cooler. They work just fine. I've never had a problem with either of them. So there's that. So on the list that I made here, I got a list of all the things, the differences between them that I kind of just went over, and I made check marks by the one that I thought had the advantage. The first one is the weight. Eastonmade's lighter, 800 pounds, so it's easier to move, but the Wolfe is heavier duty. It's definitely more steel. So to me, it's kind of a wash. If you want one that's easier to move, Eastonmade, a little lighter. If you want one that's going to maybe be built better, last longer, Wolfe, there's that. So it's kind of even. The next one is the cycle time. You got like 6 or 6.5 seconds on the Wolfe, 4 seconds on the Eastonmade. It's a wash because you've got your auto cycle, which is huge. But this is nice and fast. So again, it's kind of a tie. The next thing is tonnage, 17, 14. This gets the check mark. The next one is Honda engine now. Yes, mine has a Honda engine, but now you don't have Honda engines. And like I said, I'm a Honda fan. Vanguard, nothing wrong with them. They work just fine. But I'd take the Honda. That's one of the reasons I bought my Ultra, is it had a Honda, but now you can't get them with a Honda. So there's that. So check mark goes to Wolfe. Beam. Way better beam. Much stronger beam. Just some tubes. This will get the check mark. Nylon impregnated with brass wear on your actual wedge. I mean on your push plate here. Over here it's steel on steel with 2 bolts. Here you got all the goodies into the brass, the graphite impregnated nylon with 8 bolts holding it on the I-beam. Definite check mark. That's a big one. I'm not saying anything bad about our cousins to the north, but this is made in the USA, in Wisconsin, right down the road. It's right over there. You can almost see it from here. And Canadian made by our cousins. So I give this the check mark. Unless you're from Canada, then I guess you pick that one. The next one is the clean out grate. This definitely check mark here. No, what I do when I use this is I park my tractor bucket away and let all the debris fall here. Here we can put right underneath it, and it just works really nice. I like that a lot. This is probably the biggest one, I think. You've got dealers, you've got people, you've got a place that you can take it and get stuff fixed. And because it's closer, for me, it's much easier to get stuff done. Over here you got Canada across the border, so it's going to obviously take longer to get parts. So there's that. So check mark. The next thing is the stability issue. This is much more stable because you have the foot in the back. Over here there's no foot in the back, so it's not as stable, but it's stable enough. It works fine, but it's a little more stable. One thing I did not mention You can get this in about a dozen different colors. If you want white, you can get white. If you want all black, you can get black. If you want, I think you can get like lime green with this. If you want to get lime green, you can do that. Comes in lots of colors. Blue, red, white, and blue would be kind of cool because it's American made. This is it, blue and orange. That's what you're gonna get. So if you like custom colors, you want to personalize it, this gets the check mark. The wedges, nothing wrong with either of them. This one, to me, is faster to change, more user-friendly. You just stand here, take the bolt, and you can raise it up here. You got to crawl up on top and pull it out. You've seen videos of me lifting this out. It weighs, I don't know, 70, 80 pounds. You got to pull it up and throw it to the side and then slide your other wedge in. So it takes longer, but they both work fine. There you go, there's that. The levers and knobs. This has got better levers and knobs. This is the one I made because I broke the first two that I got from them. It's a small, little bitty, tiny little, I don't know if they've changed them since then, but all I know is that we broke several of them. These are more solid. The next thing would be the Prince valves versus the Geltec. And I don't know if they're still using Geltec for the Eastonmades, and so maybe they're using something else, but this is what they have on here. I don't know which one's better, which one you like better, but there's a difference. So it's kind of a tie right there. The adjustable work area, this again you can take off, you can put it to the other side, you can lay this down, stand it straight up. There's a possibility, I believe, if you wanted two of these, you could get two of these. If you want two of these, you could get two of these. So there's a lot of configurations you can do this. Or you can take it off completely if you want. You don't have to have anything, you can get right in there. So there's that. So even though I've had this for a very long time, I'm not throwing shade or whatever they call it, what that is on when you're on a machine. I love this, the Ultra, it's been awesome. And I know they've sold a ton of them. I know a lot of people have told me they bought them because they saw my videos and liked them. But this is better by quite a bit. This got like 2 or 3 check marks. This one here got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of the things I talked about, 13 check marks. So if you want to do it scientifically, if you believe what I had to say, this is it. This is an awesome machine. So we're going to do a little split off now. We're going to see which one does whatever. You're going to see the video on that, and then we're going to talk about it once we're done. There we go. All right, so it started very easy first pull, just like most Hondas do. Hondas start very easy. That's one thing that I have noticed, the difference between the Honda and the Vanguard engines. I think the Honda started easier, more dependable on almost every machine I've ever had that's a Honda. All right, let's do some splitting. We're gonna start out with this one here. It looks like it's kind of a rotten one, but let's give it a try. So again, look at this. No hands, Mom. Look at that. That is nice. Still, my hands are free to work. I like it. Got a knotty one here, a bunch of knots. I had to push it back down because I didn't want to go. It's a very hard, dry, nasty one. to cut through a big knot on this one. More knot. I'm gonna make it go. I like how the valve just, the auto return just goes back. That is sweet. A bigger one here. Big dry piece of ash. Dry one. Some good wood here though, man. It's dry on the inside. You can tell just by looking at it. I've only got about 3 hours on this machine so far. I'm going to turn her off because that's it for that one. So there we go. That was the Wolfe Ridge 17 RS. And like I said, I've only got about 2 hours on this machine ever. So I'm just kind of now starting to learn how to use it. And right off the bat, it's fast. I like it a lot. I'll show you the wood we got here. You guys can't see it from where you are. So there's the wood that it just produced. It's close to a bucket full now. When I brought the wood over here, I had all the wood in the bucket, and we still have this to do. So obviously you can see when you split wood, it fluffs up a little bit. So there's that. So now we're gonna run the Ultra, the Eastonmade. I got 8 rounds over here, equal size, pretty much the same kind of wood. I tried to make sure they were both the same. And we're gonna give this puppy a warm up and get it fired up. All right, so now we're gonna fire up the Eastonmade Ultra and do the same amount of wood and see what happens. We're not gonna really worry about the time. Doesn't really matter, it's which one you like better, but here we go. Definitely faster. rock down here. How am I doing on time? Which one's winning? They're both good machines. Actually, no, they're not both good machines. They're both great machines, in my opinion. For the cost of what they are and the production they can output, I'll take these over to Great Big Monster that's 25-30 grand. It's not super impressive with great big monster machines. They're nice, but they're just not what I would pick, obviously, because this is what I've got. It's not ash, it's maple. Keep working steady like I did in the other one. Got the piece. Oh! Here we go. Done. So there you go. The split is done. Tell me what you think, which one you like better, which brand you think is better. I think they're both great machines. They really are. They just do what they need to do and they do it efficiently. If you're a homeowner and you heat with wood, either of these machines would be perfect. I do not believe that a homeowner needs to go spend $30,000 on a splitter. I think somewhere in the $5,000 to $10,000 range is something to last you the rest of your life. Both of these will hold their value for a very long time. They do not depreciate because they're made very well. If you go spend 5-6 grand, whatever these cost, if you have it for 10 years, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 grand back because of inflation, because of increased cost and everything for production. The value on these is going to keep going up because the cost to produce them keeps going up. Both great machines. I think that whatever you decide to do would be a good choice. But with all that being said, this has been a fantastic machine for 5 years for me. It's produced literally, I don't know, 1,500 full cords, maybe more. I've loaned this out to a bunch of people. They absolutely love it. Everybody says nothing but good things about it. The Wolfe Ridge is new to the woodyard here. It's going to be here for a long time. And I think we're going to be using this a lot. And with all that being said, I don't need 2 of these machines. I think I'm going to sell my Eastonmade Ultra. I've had it for a very long time. It's been good. But I got a new machine here, and I'm working with Wolfe Ridge. They're constantly bringing me new stuff to try out and play with. And being that they're just down the road, it's just awesome. So I'm going to be working with Wolfe Ridge quite a bit now. So that's all I got for today, folks. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene.